Welcome to Brainstorm MTG. I'm ELD, and this is Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering with commentary. Here we have Legacy from Scholars Games in Brockton, Massachusetts, and I'm on the spiciest list from the recent GP. I believe it was Birmingham 1200 player event, and this was in the top 8 robots, and making use of strategies more common in modern or vintage. And modern, you'd consider this a affinity deck. Vintage, it'd be workshops. Either way, you've got Ravager and some disruptive elements along with some of the best low casting costs artifact creatures ever printed. And Brian, obviously not on food chain here, opening up with Rashad and Port into Aether Vial and maybe Death and Taxes. Mox Opal's being played here now with Metalcraft, sacrificing the excess copies to go Hellbent and get a Vault Skirge into play. So all the cards on the table here for robots going to be playing off the top of the deck. But that mountain means, that's right, Goblins. So Brian on Goblins. And right off the top, Etched Champion, a very good draw here. Goblins going to be mono red. Question of whether or not to swing with the Arcbound Ravager. It is going to get blocked anyways, so probably not worth swinging. If the upkeep was going to get paid, I guess that does give Brian an extra 1/1 at the cost of 2 mana. Probably going to be happy if that's how he's spending his mana. But instead we've got Matron, and that is going to tutor up something. I mean, the Sting Skirt. Oh, Tuk Tuk. He's got Tuk Tuk Scrapper main deck. So that is very powerful. Now, Tuk Tuk is a Goblin Artificer ally, I believe. The ally part of that could be relevant if he plays multiple copies, basically affecting the life totals there for artifacts being destroyed. That's going to be tough to do with Ravager, though. Generally, whatever is targeted is going to get sacrificed to Ravager. And a Wasteland coming down, making that solo City of Traitors look even weaker as far as a mana base. And he's going to go ahead and cast that Tuk Tuk Scrapper. We'll see what he chooses. It is going to be Vault Skirge, so that'll get sacrificed to Ravager. Still have Metalcraft. Getting close. Lethal here. Goblins down to 11. That Mishra's Factory, even if it's wastelanded, could be animated and turned into more food for the Ravagers. Vial ticking up. This is kind of a race versus inevitability. Ringleader coming down, Kiki, Jiki, and Gem Palm Incinerator. And that is hugely problematic. Luckily, Vial a long way away from Kiki Jiki is going to need to just cast it. We can't Gem Palm and Kiki Jiki at the same time. And there we go. Etched Champion swinging one more time. 2, 5, 7. Looks like lethal might have been possible there. Oh, no, not if the life total is correct. If he's at 9, then correct. We're good. Can do exactly 9 on board, right? 2, 7, 8, 9. Sack, actually 10. So lethal is being threatened here. Kiki Jiki has come down. Chieftain has come down. So that's it. All of the tricks are done here. And Brian going to attempt a crackback. A little bit of who's the beatdown being played here. sacrificing a couple of goblins to push through 2 damage. Might have been much better to leave up some more tricks. Gem Palm Incinerator could have been useful here. So I think a little misallocation of roles there. In general, you know, if you're trying to stabilize, that is generally not going to be the time to try and deploy resources into lowering your opponent's life total. Keeping up some mana or some options for Gem Palm Incinerator could have been stronger. But there are no tricks here left to be made. It looks like I should be able to just swing here with the Etched Champion. And let's see if this is enough. I just need to keep 3 artifacts left in play. So I'm going to sacrifice Ravager to the other Ravager, getting a modular counter and pumping. That pushes the Etched Champion to 3. Sacrifice here. Going to go to 6 counters on that Ravager. Animating Factory first. Means exactly 9 damage. So that's going to do it. Wow. Just a turn away. Geeky Geeky plus Tuk Tuk undoubtedly would have started to rain havoc down, getting rid of Metalcraft very easily, but was able to finish with exactly 3 artifacts in play. Drawing an artifact off the top there, and Vault Skirge was exactly what the doctor ordered for taking down game number 1, earning that checkmark. So Goblins, actually no stranger to destroying artifacts. There's a lot of possibilities there. Cards like Fiery Confluence, In Street Hooligans, of course that main deck Tuk Tuk Scrapper can do a ton of work, particularly with Kiki Jiki, and the deck has a lot of access to that. Actually, I guess you'd call it a combo because of Matron and Ringleader. For the other side of things here, this robot list does have a lot of dead cards, essentially, or close to dead cards versus Goblins. I think Chalice of the Void and Thorn of Amethyst, both at their worst in this type of matchup. Those are cards that Goblins could actually consider running. So I'm going to bring in some answers to the board. Looks like Ratchet Bombs, Sorcerer's Spyglass. Going to need to take that one out of the wrapper. I did have to borrow a few cards for this tournament. Oh, this is bad memories here, trying to get that thing open. Pre-release foil. Actually, didn't have any regular copies. Had to pick that one up from Scholars. Of course, they have an excellent selection of singles. I was able to get this deck mostly ready to go. It was a little bit off in the sideboard from the optimal build, but the main deck was card for card the list that top aided the GP. And here we're going to see those Ratchet Bombs, Pithing Needles, and I believe perhaps Spell Skites coming in as well. But yeah, Thorn of Amethyst really not doing much here. Chalice of the Void, their mana costs are all up and down the curve, and they have Cavern of Souls on top of it, along with Aether Vial. Aether Vial is a consideration when you're on the play. Like, you could keep in Chalice if you get to go first, hoping to turn 1 shut off both their Lackey and their Aether Vials. I would not really argue against that too much, but I don't think you need to get lucky with this Robots matchup. I would probably stay away from that type of strategy in general unless I thought the opponent was a much stronger player than me and I was going to need to get lucky in order to beat them. That would definitely give you a certain element of luck where you could have a turn 1 play that just completely blanks their hand. So that's pretty much the only way I would do that. Spellskite there in hand makes a very solid blocker versus Lackey and even Warren Instigator. Of course, it won't take out either of those guys, but it will at least stand valiantly in the way and repeatedly take its hits. Wasteland, and there we go, that Cavern of Souls, showing exactly why Chalice not that exciting. And Lackey is going to connect because of Sting Scourger, and Ringleader is going to hit just a Goblin War Chief. I'm sorry, Goblin Chieftain. So that's pretty fortunate. Could have been a lot worse. Spellskite coming down. And Steel Overseer. Lotus Petal as well, so Steel Overseer gonna threaten to start pumping that Spellskite into a pretty formidable body. Already has a 4 backside. That's just gonna get bigger as the Overseer pumps, and each additional point of power is gonna start to become very relevant. That's gonna get through some damage. Gonna of course block the Lackey there, taking 2. And there's a Mog War Marshal, so Goblins looking to go fairly wide here. And another Steel Overseer, and now things are poised to get out of control very rapidly. Each turn, all of these artifact creatures are going to be able to get +2/+2. Ancient Tomb putting in Ratchet Bomb. So that will be able to handle these tokens. Would also get rid of the Lotus Petals, which is not ideal. Or it could ratchet up and take out Goblin Lackey. Not going to want to take out Pile Driver. That would take out my entire board. And probably not worth going up to 4 mana. And there we go. Activating. And it's a question of blowing up those Lotus Petals or just ratcheting up to 1. Probably best to try and at least get some use out of those petals. And there's a factory. And another Ratchet Bomb. So it can really neuter this Goblin Pile Driver big time. Leaving just Ringleader and Pile Driver and 3 cards in hand. It's going to take some really good draws to dig out of this. Those Steel Overseers are going to be able to pump everything +2/+2. And Pyrokinesis just not going to be good enough here with Spellskite. And that's going to push out of range even. So Brian hoping last-ditch effort here that I'd maybe push those over to Spellskite and maybe make some type of long-ish term play with CGN Commander. I mean, this is a really bad spot. Just a terrible spot here. Actually missed the activation on Factory on that first Steel Overseer. Ryan going to need to find some way to get rid of those last 11 points of damage. It's going to be really difficult given just how beefy this board is getting. During the end step, double pumping again. And a Revoker. Getting rid of more possible outs here. Leave it named Goblin Tinkerer. There's Tuk Tuk. And that can take out Spellskite. There's the pump. I think I actually missed the counters there. Running out of dice. Good problems here. So here, lethal if nothing is blocked. Of course, something will be blocked. Looks like it's actually potentially going to be safer to just continue on this path, pushing through minimal damage. And that's going to do it there. One more turn. Not in the cards there for Brian. And Goblins overwhelmed by robots. That's all for this one. If you enjoyed the video, please help grow the channel by subscribing. You'll be notified when we upload new videos like Fast Effect, Double Speed Magic with Commentary, or Untapped, our raw tournament gameplay. Thanks for watching.